Hey there, Ginny Field here, SRES instructor, and I wanted to do a very brief video on the reverse mortgage purchase system. We do spend a very little bit of time in the program, the SRES program, on reverse mortgage purchase, but not enough. And so I wanted to provide a little bit of a tool to instructors to be able to get a better handle on what it really means. And I can share with you, I have personally done them, and I know it's saved lives of people that were on very limited incomes, could buy a home of their dreams with no mortgage and still have leftover cash after selling the house that they raised their kids in, or whatever the case may be. So I reached out to my good friend Tane Cabe, who is the president of Fairway Mortgage Reverse Division, and we just took about 10 minutes of time to talk about it. So I hope you enjoy. Feel free to reach out to me if I can answer any questions, and thanks for watching. Tane, I'm just so excited that you're willing to spend just a brief time with me. I have been working on something that's vitally important to me personally as a realtor, and that's the reverse mortgage for purchase. And you know, because we've spoken before, that I have sold homes for individuals, to individuals, that without that program, they would not have a house to live in, period. The end of story. I also know that you wrote a book called Double Retirement Dollars, and you are kind of the guy when it comes to reverse for purchase. So please share a little bit, if you would, about your thoughts on it. And I know I have mine, but I'd like to hear from you. You're currently the president of Fairway Reverse Mortgage Division, and that's why I reached out to you again. So talk a little bit about it, if you don't mind, Tane. We've only got a short time, but go ahead.
No, absolutely. Thank you. And I'm honored to be part of this. So I appreciate you reaching out to me. So with the reverse for purchase, I've been doing this for a number of years in the mortgage business since '93, and started doing reverse mortgages in '04. And then in 2014, I wrote the book, Double Your Retirement Dollars. And it's really dedicated because in 2009, HUD authorized FHA to go ahead and offer the reverse mortgage for purchasing a home. So instead of just refinancing your home and paying off mortgage and getting money, we could purchase a home using the program. And that's where I thought that's a brilliant idea. And I started focusing my attention as a loan originator at the time on that particular program. And so I wrote the book. We distributed the book all over the country and to educate people, because when I thought of reverse mortgage, I thought I didn't want to ever do them.
Yeah, you told me that once before, where you said you were just didn't, and then you like had the epiphany. So share the epiphany.
I'm a skeptic, so I looked into it and I realized this was not what I thought it was, and I decided to go ahead and start doing these. And then the purchase came out, and that's when I thought, what a brilliant idea. I'll share this knowledge with real estate agents and builders, and how we can help someone that might be in a home that's that's been in that home for 30 plus years or more, and it's not suited for them anymore, and move them into a single level home, something that's more suitable, maybe in an active adult community. But instead of paying cash to not have a mortgage payment, or getting a regular mortgage and having mortgage payments in retirement, which who wants mortgage payments in retirement, right? You can make memories, not mortgage payments in retirement. Right. They can use this third option now, which is put half down or 60% down, depending on their age, or and never have to make a mortgage payment if they don't want to. And of course, with anything, there's a catch to that. But happy to describe that. But that's part of the learning process, is understand what your trade-off is, and not paying all cash and getting a loan like this, where you could actually buy the home you want. From a real estate agent perspective, it allows your client to boost their budget. If they're an all cash buyer, maybe boost their budget. Maybe they're at a $400,000 price point, but really the home they want is $500,000 or $600,000. They can boost their budget using this program and not have to, settle for a home. Or maybe if they could save more cash, buy that $400,000 home, but instead of paying cash, put
have the money. Yes.
Put $250,000 down and not have a mortgage payment. Keep the rest of that cash to go tour the world, or whatever they want to do with that money. So
let me speak to that, because I've done several because as you know, most of my business is working with folks over 55. And I know that there's a 62 benchmark, which is okay, but I've had 3 different times that in each case, these people were on a very limited fixed income, but they had the big house that they'd either raised their family in or lived in for an extended period of time, that they had either very low mortgage on or had enough equity in. And it absolutely was a game changer for them, because they just could not have bought a home without doing this. Well, they could have, but then they would have been cash poor. So the fact that in one particular person, she was always concerned about how much money she had. And I remember her telling me after she bought the house, she said, I'm going on a cruise with my sister now. I said, yeah, because you can. And that's what it does. And I just think it's such a powerful thing that someone has the ability to get out of the house, whatever the purpose is, buy a new home, not have a mortgage payment unless they choose to pay one. So speak to that very briefly, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
They
well, I think there's, when you think of reverse mortgage, most people immediately think, well, I don't need one of those, or my clients don't need one of those. That's for people who are broke and destitute. But the reality is, that's not the case. In
right,
fact, most people say, well, you don't make a mortgage payment and that, you lose your house and all that stuff. And that's not true.
not true.
If you want, as a consumer, or one of your clients, they can make a payment. There's optional payments. Most people don't make a payment because it's not structured that way, but you can. And essentially what happens with these loans is you buy a house, let's say for 400, and you put 200 down, right? You have now a $200,000 mortgage and 200,000 in equity. Instead of making a payment, that interest payment is going to be added, so that balance is going to go up over time. And also, we know in the real estate business, the last 70 plus years, homes tend to appreciate, right? So
Yeah.
it continues to appreciate. Your equity is going to slowly get squeezed, maybe depending on that interest rate, or it could expand.
Right.
But if it does go beyond the value of the house, and now we're upside down, and
It's an
that client
FHA.
sells that house, the FHA insurance protects
Right.
that buyer,
Right.
protects them from having to pay or have a short sale,
Right.
and also protects the real estate agent, whoever, if you're ending up selling a home that's in that situation where the balance is greater and it's a reverse mortgage on there, your commissions are protected. You're going to be paid your commission. You're going to be paid, the closing costs are going to be covered in that insurance. So there's a lot of built-in protections there. But yes, they can make a payment to keep that balance at bay. If they don't want it to go up, they can make a payment. And so that's definitely an option for them.
Well, I've heard also stories of one particular person, and there's a story similar to this mentioned in the Senior Real Estate Specialist program about a woman who had raised the kids. Kids were all gone, been in the house 30 plus years, and the neighborhood started to decline, and she lived alone, and she didn't feel safe anymore.
Mhm.
And with the reverse for purchase, because she didn't have a lot of cash, she was on a fixed income, but with the reverse for purchase, she was able to sell that house, take the cash, take her equity that she'd earned over those 30 years, and buy a new home in a perfect neighborhood for herself and have cash left over. I mean, that's the thing that people forget, is that, and like I said, I've had students say, wow, this is really a game changer. It is, and it can be. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate you. What else do you think is important to mention on this program specifically, Tane?
Well, I think just looking at the demographics of our country, right? We have the top number one demographic that's purchasing homes. 39% are retirees. They're seniors. They're people who are looking to downsize or right size their home. They have over $11 trillion in equity right now as we record this video.
Right.
They're sitting on tons of equity. We have an inventory problem, right?
Yes.
We can release some inventory. We can create a market, be a market maker by focusing in on this demographic and helping them understand how they can list their home and then buy another one, not have to pay all cash, because they're thinking right now, oh, I can't find something for what I can get out of this house that I want to live in. Well,
Right.
you could if you leverage this program. Another thing, I think, when I speak to a lot of SRES agents that with that designation, I think a lot of focus tends to be on the last move, right? For that senior who is in their 80s, right? Or maybe 90s, and they can no longer live in their home. So they're looking to move into assisted living, and that's a one-time sale. And that's noble, and I think definitely valuable. But we have a situation here where we have people that are in their early 60s, 70s, and early 80s even, that are like, I want to sell this house, but I just don't know that I can to buy a next one. And that turns into a listing, and that is a sale. So you have two transactions. Now, eventually, when they do hit their mid 80s and 90s, and they may want to move to assisted living, now you have potentially a third sale to help that client. So you can move them in the latter part of their years as a real estate professional. Wow, this is an opportunity to not only help the last time movers, but the right size movers, right? In living out their dream retirement. So
I think it is. And that, for me, I think I always go back to the look on someone's face, because this one particular one is probably the most impactful to me, because she was getting frustrated with her lender, not somebody I recommended. And she was getting frustrated to the point, I'm just going to get a regular mortgage. I said, do you want a payment or not? And that's all I said. I said, do you want a mortgage payment? You want to buy this beautiful home, or with a mortgage payment or without one? And she looked at me. I said, that's where we are, kiddo. So what do you want to do? It was her decision, but just those words, because the house is perfect for her. It's beautiful. It really didn't need a lot of work, but she ended up having cash to take that cruise with her sister. So Tane,
Yep.
short time, you are always amazing. I am going to add some contact information for you at the end. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, I want to add the title of that book if anybody wants to receive it. And I as always, appreciate your time, my friend. And I promise I'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much, Tane.
Thank you, Jeannie. Appreciate it.
Take good care.